If you've spent countless hours watching Airwolf and Blue Thunder, this is the video game for you. This is Chopper Command on the Atari 2600, and this is one of those must-have titles for the Atari. This is from Activision, released in 1982, and the quality of Chopper Command is far above average for these kind of games on the Atari. On the surface, this looks very much like Defender, except you're flying a helicopter instead of a spaceship, and you're not in outer space, but flying through a desert, protecting a convoy of trucks. And the little radar screen that shows you what's ahead of you and behind you is on the bottom of the screen instead of the top. That's the main difference, right? And there's a sunset in the background, or a sunrise, who can be sure. One thing I am sure of is that Activision was the master of sunsets on the Atari 2600. And you don't need to look much further than this game, Enduro, and Pitfall 2 to see that. And to their credit, they do bring the games to life more so than many other games on the Atari 2600. Just that slight bit of detail with a sunset in the background, in my opinion, adds a great deal to these games. The objective of the game is similar to Defender, except instead of saving humans from landers descending on them and then turning into mutants, you're protecting a convoy of trucks from helicopters and jet fighters. What's really interesting about this game is that the enemies shoot at you and the trucks at the same time, and these missiles that seem to fire straight towards you and then break off into two. So playing this game is really cool and really challenging because as you're approaching the enemies and they fire at you, you actually want to go right into their shots because they're going to break apart and miss you. If you break up or down, you stand a better chance of being hit. The helicopters are pretty easy to shoot down, the planes move much faster, and just like real airplanes, they can change direction instantly. Or at least real airplanes on the Atari. Either way, they're tough to hit, and 9 times out of 10 I ended up running into airplanes. Although you can also crash into the helicopters and the trucks if you get low enough. You get most of your points depending on how many trucks survive after each mission, so you want to clear out those enemies as quickly as possible. There's a few different difficulty levels on the game. You have the cadet level and then the commander level. There's also 2-player mode. Although I prefer Defender as a whole to this game, I think that on the Atari 2600, Chopper Command is actually a slightly better game than Defender on the Atari 2600. But honestly, they're both awesome games, and at the price that you can find these games now, you should have them both. The quality of the controls in Chopper Command is excellent, the graphics are top-notch for the Atari. And I like the little helicopter sound. It's so real that it feels like there's a helicopter flying around your room as you're playing Chopper Command. And then when you're done playing Chopper Command, if you haven't gotten enough helicopter fix, you can go out and find Twin Cobra on the Genesis or Choplifter on the 7800 or Sega Master System. With all this emphasis on helicopters, that must have made locomotives extremely jealous. We need more video games with trains. Actually, Grand Theft Auto did that. You could hijack the train in San Andreas. That was awesome.